It says it's working. Hello, is there anybody in there? Is there anybody out there? Oh, I think, oh my goodness, I think we might be about to do this. Right, hi people, I'm in a party with CrimsonTide and RoyalBlu. We are about to get stuck into this round 2 matchup between these two players, and we're going to kick things off on 16-bit. So let me just create the lobby here. Hopefully our players are ready to rock. I'm going to do some rearranging, so we're going to have RoyalBlu playing Terran, CrimsonTide playing Protoss, me as spectator. Let me just check that everybody is ready. I think we're probably good to go, aren't we? I don't want to speak to clan, I want to speak to party. We're not a clan, are we? How do I don't even know. Anyway, let's just get involved, shall we? Let's do it. Let's do this thing. Let's see how this pans out. Live streaming, folks. Hopefully it goes better than the last 2 attempts to live stream, where on both occasions my computer totally crashed. And my computer hasn't crashed like that since about, I don't know, 2015. It's been ages, so it was a bit weird. Don't know if that's to do with me attempting to stream or some other things that I've been mucking about with. So let's get involved with this. Here we have got CrimsonTide in the bottom left, RoyalBlu in the top right. RoyalBlu as Protoss. I could have sworn a minute ago it said RoyalBlu was playing Terran, but you know, Protoss it is. I'm fine with that. Yeah, don't know what we're going to see, really. 16-bit's an interesting map because it's got this expand out the back, so you've got an incredibly safe expo here, but very, very easy to defend. So that is kind of one approach to that expo, is to actually save it to be your third. So expo out the front like you normally would, positioning your units here, walling off in this location, and keep this to be an easy third that you've got out the back. And I quite like that as a strat. One of the downsides to this area out the back is it's quite hard to police, so it's pretty straightforward for your opponent to fly in here with a warp prism, you know, in the case of Protoss or whatever, and throw some units out and come and kill you, or in the case of Zerg and Nidus Worm, or obviously Medivacs in the case of Terran. So that sort of protected expo at the back kind of cuts both ways a little bit. Worker for CrimsonTide is coming up and is going to take a little peek around, or is it going to do something sneakier than that? Time will tell. Does look like it's just going to be a scout rather than any sort of proxy. So RoyalBlu appears to be planning that expo at the front, while CrimsonTide appears to be expanding out the back. There you can see the expo going down for CrimsonTide. So in that protected area, this pylon at the front kind of suggests that RoyalBlu is going to expo at the front. CrimsonTide just coming down with the worker to check that and dropping the pylon. Surely that's going to get spotted. I mean, RoyalBlu must have seen the worker go down there. So I'm not sure about the position of that pylon. I'm not sure what that's trying to achieve. If you're trying to hide it, like tucked away right in the corner there, you might get away with it. Yeah, where it is, not so sure. RoyalBlu knows that it's there, doesn't actually have any units at present. So, you know, what are you going to do about this? Nothing, really. What you do have to be careful of, if there is a pylon like that, is you've got to make sure the worker doesn't come back in and attempt to drop cannons next to it. So long as the worker isn't there, a pylon on its own, you don't have to worry about imminently, especially when you're playing Protoss yourself, because you know when warp gate's going to finish up. You know that your side core and your warp gate research are still a little way off, so it's going to be a while before your opponent's going to be able to warp in any units there. So I'm not sure about this pylon. I'm not sure I like it. I'm not sure I see the value in it. RoyalBlu just temporarily forgetting to transfer the workers into gas here, but does have a zealot dealing with that pylon. Meanwhile, other side of the map, we've got Stalker in production. The second warp gate's come down, and there's going to be an adept out of that. And I think Adepts could be good here, especially with the Expo at the front. Adepts trickier if the Expo's at the back, because you've really got to commit to get those Adepts up into your opponent's base. With the Expo at the front, you know, the Adepts can shed in up into the main base, and if there's units there to respond to that, they can cancel the shed and attack the workers down here in the natural. So definitely potential for Adepts to get something done. 2 more gateways coming in for CrimsonTide, so going up to a sort of 4-gate position, and this will be interesting with the Twilight Council. We'll get a good idea of which way this is going to go based on what upgrade comes out of that Twilight. So if you are going to commit to Adepts, then the glaives upgrade for them is crucial. It just increases the rate of fire, so Adepts do good damage against workers, but if you get the glaives upgrade, they shoot that much quicker, so your 2 Adepts can one-shot those workers so much quicker. Doesn't look like it is a commitment though. There's only 1 Adept on the map, and I think that this is just for scouting purposes at present. So RoyalBlu appears to have a worker just right here in the middle of CrimsonTide's mineral line, just hanging out, and it's kind of freaking me out a bit. It's just bothering me slightly. Why wouldn't you just kill that? You know, there is somewhere a stalker. I'm sure there's several. Why wouldn't you just come and shoot this? Like, just don't let it just sit there. Anyway, the Adept comes in, and CrimsonTide wants to know if there's an Expo at the back. Is going to be reasonably happy to see that there isn't. Needs to shed this out though. This is going to get lost, and that is actually really awkward. You know, to lose an Adept to units that are not faster than it is pretty awkward. So what you've got to do is send the shed in the opposite direction and just keep running, and obviously the Adept will shed out and should survive. With that said, RoyalBlu had 2 Adepts of his own that he could have sent sheds after. So you may not have got out, but you know, you've got to at least try. It is a Dark Shrine coming out here, so Blink being researched, and a Dark Shrine. I don't see a Robo, correct me if I'm wrong. No, that's not what I'm after. Structures. No, there's no Robo here on this map, so the DTs are going to have to walk in through the front door, but at present there is a forge, but there are no cannons. The Robo is building though, so there is a reasonable chance RoyalBlu is going to have detection out in time. This is a reasonable number of stalkers, but with Defender's advantage, RoyalBlu should be able to see this off. I'd love to see a couple of force fields come down. Blink isn't done yet, so a really good chance of actually trapping these stalkers against the Zealots and forcing a few kills. You don't want to get separated like this, the RoyalBlu, because once there's a number advantage, you just die. You need all of your units involved. But look how tanky these Adepts are, you know. Adepts not typically thought of as a great unit against stalkers. The stalkers outrange them and are a little bit easier to maneuver, easier to micro, but Adepts are really tanky little units. They, you know, they take quite a beating. Yeah, CrimsonTide just basically keeping her opponent busy at this stage. Observer building first up. Are there DTs on the map? I don't believe there are, and the Dark Shrine has been finished for a while at present. You know, so the longer you wait, really, the greater the likelihood of there being detection. So I'd quite like to see some Dark Templars come out. Wouldn't mind seeing a Warp Prism actually. I'd like to see the Warp Prism come out, because you know, this area just presents such a great opportunity to warp in Dark Templars and just clear out this mineral line pretty instantly. And that is a useful thing to do. Taking a quick look here, it's very even. 7 units, that's exactly even. 7 units killed on each side. Army supplies in favour of CrimsonTide, but the worker supply in favour of RoyalBlu, with that earlier third getting closer to saturation. 7 workers on there. RoyalBlu needs to do a little bit of redistribution, because look, oversaturation here, oversaturation here. If you send these down here, RoyalBlu can stop building workers and have these 3 bases saturated without doing anything further. I think the idea here is going to be a blink in. I don't think you can blink across that gap, but you may be able to, but I don't think you can. I don't think that is a jumpable blink. And with the position of these buildings, you can't blink up into this region either. There are observers here for RoyalBlu, so RoyalBlu can see this observer of CrimsonTide's and actually shoot it down. So okay, is going to commit to this blinking, and actually I don't like it, but it's going to be able to snipe the pylon. But how many of these stalkers are going to be able to get out? I'm just not sure. Is this going to prove worthwhile? I feel like these stalkers are absolutely trapped, and RoyalBlu needs to realize that and go and kill them. You know, these stalkers are completely forfeit here. Because none of these are going to make it out. I'd love to see a Guardian Shield pop, because the Guardian Shields from the two sentries, you know, just are basically +2 armor, which when it's a Stalker versus Stalker fight is a good thing. So that I didn't really like it. What we've swapped there is 10 workers for 10 Stalkers. And given that there is a level of oversaturation here, RoyalBlu can resaturate this super quickly and not really lose anything. The 10 Stalkers cost a lot more than the 10 workers, so I'm not sure that I like that commitment. I like the idea of a blink in, but when you see these buildings here, it's so awkward to get past those, and once you go in, you're going to be committing hard. This is a problem for RoyalBlu. Crimson about to get up to the 4th base, so we will see her, you know, sort of accelerate past RoyalBlu in terms of worker supply. This observer coming in and getting the full scout is a little awkward, given that RoyalBlu had his own observers and must have known there was an observer here, because you can't blink up a hill without vision. So, you know, there had to be an observer there. So letting this observer come in and just get the full look around is a little awkward, as I say. Finally, we're going to see some Warp Prism play. The Dark Shrine never got used. Now, these Immortals can be grit. I don't know about the Warping. I'd like to have just seen some Immortal juggling, but it is DTs finally, and we'll just... These DTs actually could focus down the Nexus, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. The problem is, with the Immortals in the Warp Prism, you can't pick the DTs up. So once the Observer gets here, again, these are going to be forfeit, and the Observer is coming. So again, it's going to be a swap out of units for workers, and in general, I quite like that. Focusing the Nexus, I like. I think I would have quite liked to have seen just a double Nexus snipe. So kill the Nexus with the DTs on the low ground, while you kill the Nexus with the 2 Immortals on the high ground. That would have pleased me, I think, more. Rebuilding the Nexus here, and honestly, you'd be better building it here, because look, there's really not that many minerals left, but this Warp Prism isn't that being annoying. RoyalBlu pulling the entire army down to try and get this, but it looks like this Nexus is going to fall after all, and I can't help but feel that is going to be pretty close to GG. Look, RoyalBlu needs to just go right now. It's 62. You know, when somebody pulls a move like that, you've got to bear in mind how much micro is involved in that, how much of their focus is involved in that. That generally is a strong sign that they are not macroing at home. And given that they've lost quite a few units in that process, you know, when somebody pulls that type of move, strong chance you've got an army advantage at that moment. But they've sniped 2 of your bases, they've definitely got an eco advantage. So normally in StarCraft, that is just, it's time to pull the trigger. It's now or never. You know, you're not going to come back playing a long game when you've just lost 2 bases out of 3. You can't. Your only hope is to go right now. And you have to feel that if RoyalBlu goes right now, he simply wins. You know, this is the band of units waiting to defend. 3 Void Rays, 6 Stalkers. You know, if RoyalBlu turns up right now, you sort of feel like he's got this. There are 3 more Voids building, and of course DTs can be warped in. But look, these 2 Immortals, you might see a recall in this, because they could really help with the Battle at Home. This 1 pylon powering a lot of these, actually no, it isn't, is it? The pylon can go and all of that stuff's still okay. But look, this army for RoyalBlu can get a lot of hurt on. There's a lot of minerals in the bank, but there's nothing in production for RoyalBlu, and that is worrying me. Why aren't there more units being built, more units being warped in? This army can definitely win across the map, but you know, don't ever take your foot off the accelerator. Continue to build, continue to pump out the units is always the important thing. So are there enough stalkers here to focus down the void rays? That is crucial. Yes, there are. But RoyalBlu, you need to micro this, get it up into your opponent's base. You're not winning the game standing still. That's never going to happen. Don't worry about this. Yes, the DTs are going to chew through your base. You know, you lost the robo. You can't get another observer out of town. Don't worry about it. Get this worker elsewhere, spread it on the map, building things everywhere you can around the map. Build a new robo down here. Get a worker over here, build another base, spend this mineral bank, but make sure your army is killing your opponent's base as fast as it possibly can. The Immortals drop out in a pretty unfortunate place and get picked off pretty quickly. Carriers are going to come out, and actually the stalker number has dwindled. CrimsonTide needs to be a bit cleverer with the focus fire. That Immortal should have been focusing down stalkers and ignoring the sort of adepts, etc., and the colossus, because stalkers are the only thing here that really shoots up. So, you know, have the Immortal try and lower the amount of anti-air, and then maybe, just maybe, your carriers can win. CrimsonTide now also doing the same thing that RoyalBlu was doing. Why aren't there more carriers building and being chronoed out by this Nexus? This is a fairly intense first game, so RoyalBlu has further units here, and you know, where's the F2 move? Where's the grab? RoyalBlu, get this observer into your base, kill these DTs, you can clean this up, you've got this in the bag. You just need to think about what's happening here and what's going to win you the game. Look, you're losing to units that you could kill, so this is painful. So the observer's going to come back and show these, but you've moved the units out. You know, get involved. Don't bother with that. Kill the base. Bear in mind, this game ends once you've killed your opponent's buildings. You don't have to kill all your opponent's units, only their buildings. So, you know, this army's now doing nothing. It's going to spend a long time doing nothing. It's not going to kill anything for at least the next minute. And in that minute, it could have killed all three of these Stargates, and there wouldn't be any more carriers. Could have killed the fleet beacon. Could have killed the robo. Hasn't killed any of those things. Meanwhile, over here, these DTs, man, this DT with 21 kills, embarrassing. So it's a shambolic defense. RoyalBlu parked outside. Come, you know, you don't kill them from over there. Get involved, kill this stuff, and start building. Look, this mineral bank just hasn't disappeared. So that is a massive error. RoyalBlu, the game was yours to lose at that point in time. You had the units to see off the DTs. You moved them out. You had the army to absolutely slay this base and end it. You didn't. You spent a long time walking across the map. Walking across the map does not win a game. You know, this is not 10 tours, this is StarCraft. You need to kill your opponent's buildings, and that is what you have not done. So this game continues, and we're now in a very awkward spot indeed. The supplies are down the toilet, the worker count is down the toilet. Here we are at the 16-minute mark. But look, army-wise, RoyalBlu has still got superior fighting force, but 3 fully loaded carriers, fully loaded these are. Is there enough anti-air? I think with the Archon in the mix, the answer is yes, but RoyalBlu, you need to be careful. You don't want to be fighting Immortals with your Stalkers. Let the Adepts do that, and save these Stalkers to fight the air. You know, because otherwise everything is back to front. You need to preserve the Stalkers. You desperately need to. And why haven't we rebuilt? What is the hold up here? Look, you've got workers. You've got 3,600 minerals in the bank. Why haven't you turned that into 10 gateways? You know what I mean? You can't build any units right now, but you've got all the money in the world. There could have been 10 gateways, and this stuff turns up. 10 Stalkers. 10 Stalkers kills this. Job done. So now it's a race to see who can kill the other person's base first. RoyalBlu, I don't know. Yes, you're going to kill this, but honestly, you should have killed it the last time you were here. Whatever that was, 4 or 5 minutes ago. You don't know about this yet. Similarly, CrimsonTide doesn't know about this, but the bigger problem here is RoyalBlu has no production at all, and that, you know, only has himself to blame for that, because he has had plenty of time, plenty of money to build those things. A little tip here, when you're in this position and the workers are making a run for it, pull your units and let a worker out, and then follow it with a zealot. I know, right? Crafty. The Zealot won't catch the Worker, it'll just follow it. Workers by default, once the Nexus goes down, they'll take the minerals back to the next nearest Nexus, so it basically just shows you where your opponent's sneaky base is. Yeah, it's easy to say these things. Anyway, as it turns out, RoyalBlu has found it, and I think RoyalBlu can win from here. He's got enough. Like, why only build an assimilator? Why not a Nexus and 10 getaways? That's the bit that's really big in my noodle. But I think this base is going to die pretty fast, and these carriers just aren't going to find this stuff that's scattered about the place. There's too much left to kill. It is going to be GG. My goodness, this as an opening game is going to be quite close. CrimsonTide does know about this one, and are there any more workers? But look, there's still all of this. There's a worker here still. Why isn't there a Nexus? Bear in mind, when you don't have a Nexus, all of your stuff is revealed so that your opponent can see it on the mini-map. RoyalBlu still with units not shooting. Come on! These units need to be busy, they need to be killing stuff. So not that many places left to check. This is too close. CrimsonTide, you needed the workers spread, you needed to get more Nexus down. You've got 5,000 minerals in the bank. GG. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. That was a decent game. That was pretty full on. See what map these guys want to go for next. I'm thinking Curious Minds. Curious Minds is Royal's choice. Okay, yeah. So it's Curious Minds or 2000 Atmospheres. Those are our current maps, aren't they? Interestingly, I saw, I was watching a bit of Scrap the other night, and turns out that 2000 Atmospheres is the most popular StarCraft map of all time. More pro games have been played on that map than any other. So that's kind of interesting. And it's a good map. It's a very balanced map as well. So yes. Let's just see if our players are ready. Yeah, that game absolutely could have gone either way. So hopefully we have another really tight game like that. I enjoyed that. But it was also a little bit painful to watch at times. Watching units just wander about sort of aimlessly in the middle of the map when there's stuff to be killed. You know, if you can get value, do get value. All right, let's see how we go here on 2000 Atmospheres. Let's do this thing. We are in a best of 3. RoyalBlu is 1 up. I've got CrimsonTide in the bottom left. I've got RoyalBlu in the top right, playing Terran this time. Terran, and CrimsonTide asks the question, are you Terran? Are you? Is RoyalBlu going to answer it? I mean, you know, you can tell from the load screen, of course, unless somebody's gone random. You know, but people, I for one definitely don't pay enough attention to that. I frequently notice the names of the people I'm playing and like totally miss what race they are and forget to look. So what do you do having just lost the first game as CrimsonTide against a Terran? Personally, I like an Oracle opener against the Terran. They don't tend to defend it particularly well. Most Protosses expect it and will have a shield battery. Most Zergs, you know, it's hard to get work done because the Queen will be there, and Zergs are pretty good at dropping the spore. I find Terrans tend to cut the most corners on that air defense and tend to be the race that you're most likely to be able to get some stuff done against. That as a location, CrimsonTide, I don't know. It's on the straight line path. Like, why wouldn't you just over to the side here a bit, or here? I'm not sure about right there. You know, because if your opponent scouts and just right clicks your base, that's the path that their worker takes. Okay, so the pylon here, this against Terran, I'm not a big fan of. Against Zerg, I love it. You know, drop a pylon, you get value. Against Protoss, against Protoss, I'll even do the pylon side core. I'll, you know, drop a side core there because the only thing they can get out is a zealot, and side cores are really, really tough. They only cost 150, and it takes a zealot just forever to kill a side core. Look, 550 shield, 550 health. You know, one zealot takes forever to kill that, and it delays the expo. But you know, against the Terran can just build the CC here. And then once they've got the Marines to kill this, just lift the CC and fly it in. So I just don't feel it does enough against the Terran. But that is just my personal choice. This is an early Twilight console, so I think this is a planned build. I think this is something that perhaps CrimsonTide has practiced, but look at this on the other side of the map. 3, not just 1, not just 2. Oh no, please tell me it isn't. It is. RoyalBlu, don't do it. Why would you do that? It's the same worker with the 3 queued up. That's not how we do it. You grab 3 workers. It costs you the same amount of money to grab 3. You know, 3 workers not mining for a third of the time is the same lost mining time. And of course, the amount of initial outlay is the same, but the build time is 1/3. Why would you ever queue up buildings from a single worker? That just never folks, never do that. Always grab the 3 workers and build these simultaneously if you can afford to do so. This is just an unwarranted delay. So I was getting excited because I thought there was going to be 3 workers dropping up to 4 racks with 1 base. It's just a big Marine push coming, but queued up from 1 worker, I don't even know what that is. +1 weapons coming out, and typically if you're going Marine heavy, that is the right thing to do. But I don't understand why there aren't Marines building and why we're supply blocked if that is the plan here. And we're still supply blocked, and we're still supply blocked, and we're still supply blocked. What is it that RoyalBlu is doing right now? That's what I'm curious about. RoyalBlu, what is it that you're doing? Is RoyalBlu AFK? RoyalBlu, you're supply blocked for like forever. What is it you're doing? This is, by the way, RoyalBlu's cam. Let's have a look at CrimsonTide's cam. So CrimsonTide microing this adept, and actually that's huge. The fact that she has managed to snipe the worker building the CC doesn't finish, and of course the CC gives you supply. So had the CC finished, RoyalBlu would not be supply blocked. But still, look how long that supply block is. That's minutes. That is disgusting. And I think that supply block might be about to cost RoyalBlu the game. Because look at the army supply. We've got 14 against 11, and Stalkers are simply better than Marines. If these Stalkers turn up, they kill these Marines, and without that supply block, there are at least 6 more. CrimsonTide, don't go back. Oh, it's A click for the win, but no, this delay, I hate it. I hate the delay. What are we waiting for? The blink is done. Another warping round? I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. This Expo still hasn't finished up. RoyalBlu still. Come on. So upgrade wise, the +1 attack is really going to help these Marines out, but with blink, so easy to micro these. I want to see the blink back from the Stalkers. Let's see the conveyor belt. You need to just be, oh no, nasty. You need to be just grip a little lit, but better lit than never. You need to be grabbing those front Stalkers as they take damage and just blinking them to the back. But you know, this is RoyalBlu only has himself to blame for this. These Stalkers can now just sit on top of the production and kill the Marines as they come out, and there is just nothing that RoyalBlu can do here. But this should never have happened. The siege tank is going to die the moment it comes out. This Stalker is very weak, so if you're quick with the micro, you get the siege tank to focus that one down. But honestly, you know, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes supply block, ugly. And that translates when you've got 4 racks to a lot of extra Marines. Now, what I'm curious about though, don't do it, CrimsonTide, don't do it, don't stand, no, you need to be closer than that, closer, you've got blink. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, it's still going to be the end, you know, the units coming out just cannot do enough, but, you know, like how many times have I mentioned it now? Seven times. It was that supply block that killed you, RoyalBlu. GG. Oh, RoyalBlu, didn't mean to be tearing. You could have said, I'm sure we could have alrighty, it's the big decider. And it's a weird map, Curious Minds. I quite like it. I'll be honest, I do quite enjoy Curious Minds. It's an unusual map. It's one that never actually made. Curious Minds, I'm pretty sure this is true, was never actually in a WCS or a GSL. I am reasonably confident that that is truth. I don't remember ever seeing Curious Minds in a proper online tournament. But we're about to see it in our very own tournament. And it is the big decider, and I'm enjoying this. It's quite good fun. Looks like CrimsonTide is ready. Looks like RoyalBlu is ready. Let's get loaded in. It's one game apiece. Curious Minds. Protoss v Protoss. Let's do this thing. In the bottom right, in the red trunks, it is CrimsonTide. In the top left, in the blue trunks, it is RoyalBlu. We are best of 3. It is one apiece. No, it is one apiece. And yeah, I'm quite looking forward to seeing what they're going to crack out. RoyalBlu with a very conservative pylon. Not this pylon, this is the MS League, so I'm not going to make too much of this. But if you're really, really trying to squeeze those corners to get something very fast out, that's where you build your pylon to cut down on the walk time. But I think we've just negated it by waiting until we had 165 minerals to drop the gateway. So sometimes if you're doing something like ultra rush, you go pylon, you go gateway, and you drop them right here so that you've got a much shorter walk time for your worker. And that shorter walk time means that you have less lost mining time, and you can just cut as many corners as you possibly can to get your zealots across the map literally sort of 5 to 10 seconds sooner than you otherwise would. This is going to be a proxy Stargate. This is a proxy Stargate. Oh, I love it. I love it. So it's a good map for it. It's a reasonable map for it. You can put the Stargate here. You can put your shield batteries here. You can get that Void Ray in and start putting hurt on your opponent. I love it. CrimsonTide, you've forgotten to build a side core at home. CrimsonTide, where's the side core? Here it comes finally. So this side core is lit, and that is going to delay the production of the Stargate. But if RoyalBlu doesn't see this, this is going to be so problematic. This worker scouting is just looking for the, I believe, RoyalBlu. Oh, what a scout. That is absolutely epic. RoyalBlu sees it. RoyalBlu knows it's there. This, look, the delayed side core, that side core would have been finished and the Stargate would be building by now, but RoyalBlu sees this. So what do you do against this? What do? You get a pylon of your own up here, you get shield batteries of your own up here, and you get a stalker over in this corner as soon as you humanly can. The Zealot is out, and actually that is an alternative to this. You just shut it down by sending the Zealot across and killing the pylon. Now the issue I have with that is the worker can build another pylon. It takes a Zealot a long time to kill a pylon. You can mineral walk the worker past the Zealot. You can chrono out the void ray. Oh no, but don't lose the worker, CrimsonTide. Don't lose the worker. Oh no. No, this is over before it's begun. This is bad times, Crimson. You are in a lot of trouble. There's no way this void ray gets out before the pylon's dead. You had to keep the worker alive. There's no second worker on the way to drop the next pylon. So I don't know, this is a terrible start. So what have we learned, boys and girls? We have learned that while this can be an absolutely awesome build, don't get spotted. So it was actually the second worker that was out looking for trouble that saw CrimsonTide's worker come across and saw that happen. This is now a difficult hill to climb, because RoyalBlu is ahead in army, is ahead in workers, has got the slightly earlier expo, and look, this is minerals that you're never getting back, minerals and gas that you're never getting back. So how do you recover from here? There is a saying in StarCraft, when Protoss players are behind, Dark Shrine. When behind Dark Shrine, because it can just change everything. DTs can literally tip a game on its head. If your opponent isn't ready for them, they can just win you a game or get you straight back into a game where you've gone horribly wrong. And that is definitely what we're seeing here. CrimsonTide is in a lot of trouble. It's 12 against 4 army. RoyalBlu, if RoyalBlu had scouted at all, which, you know, it has to be said, did a good job of scouting around his base for the proxy, but this is how much information RoyalBlu has about his opponent's base. Literally nothing. I like this quick third. It's really risky though. I mean, it is very risky indeed to drop this quick third. You know you're behind, you have to do something about it, and one way to get back into a game is to get that quick expo up, but of course that's money that you didn't spend on workers. Now what's going to happen here is the Dark Shrine is going to finish up, the warp gates are off cooldown, there's no sentry here, but the DTs can save the day. 3 DTs. Stalkers? No, CrimsonTide, no. I cannot understand why you would warp in stalkers. I don't get it. You know, RoyalBlu sees the Dark Shrine, is going to depower your gate. Why? Like 3 DTs, just save that. That's over. You shut that down instantly with 3 DTs. I am really confused right now. So confused. Finally the DTs come out, but you know what, like, you've lost so much when you didn't have to lose anything. I'm really confused. 3 DTs across this ramp, just these stalkers never get inside, they never get anything done, they don't kill any of your units. I don't understand. Okay, so after that kerfuffle, you know, you need to get the DTs across the map, because yeah, your opponent knows you've got them, and yeah, they'll probably have detection. So it's hard for detection to be everywhere, and you've got the warp prism. So I would like to see the DTs try and get something done. Certainly they can shut this down and prevent it. And CrimsonTide, you know, that Dark Shrine has actually got you back into this game. CrimsonTide with the third up and mining, and workers, well, I was about to say and building workers. Of course, at present the workers are not being produced from the third, but yeah, I don't know about heading straight up into the main. I think I would have tried to snipe that before the detection got there. So these DTs are going to get found out and aren't really going to get much done. Arguably, a recall home would have saved those. What you can do with DTs, If they get discovered like that and they're trapped, if you turn them into an Archon, Archons have so much shield that they will survive long enough for the recall to get them home. So you just Archon the 2 DTs and you recall it. And against a small band of Stalkers like this, there's so much shield on the Archon that you'll actually get them home and you don't lose them. You know, 2 DTs is definitely worth a recall. They're 100 and I can't quite remember, 150, 125, are they, something like that? You know, that's a lot of gas. It's 250 gas is definitely worth a recall. Anyway, there's 2 Immortals here at home, 3 Immortals here at home for CrimsonTide. So she's definitely got the firepower to shut this down. Can also warp in additional DTs. It's very, very robo heavy. Now this is a bigger army from RoyalBlu, but let's have a look at the upgrades. There are none. RoyalBlu's Twilight only now building, but in production is +1 attack. But you know, Immortals are so good against this, but CrimsonTide's not reacting. The Immortals are still at home. This one's deep in the base. CrimsonTide, you don't want to lose this. And you can defend against this, like 3 Immortals, 1-shot Stalkers, boom, 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 boom. You would chew through this so quickly. I don't. There's some dubious decision making here in this game. Anyway, there are about to be a lot of Immortals out, and that is going to make things really, really scary for RoyalBlu, because, you know, army composition wise, RoyalBlu has got a very Stalker heavy army, and Immortals just eat Stalkers. This is going to be nasty. We're about to see just how badly that happens. You know, if RoyalBlu tries to push in here, CrimsonTide just crushes it. I don't know why CrimsonTide's staying at home at this point. It's 57 army to 26 for sure, but look how many Immortals that is. These Stalkers are worthless. Like literally, they're made out of paper against this many Immortals. RoyalBlu, I know what you're thinking. Please don't try it. These Immortals with 2 shield batteries as well, you know, that will turn ugly, and especially if you get the Warp Prism over there and just start juggling these backward and forward. So the Immortals need to be positioned so that they're all shooting, but seriously, less dancing, more shooting. I'd like to see the overcharge come down on one of the shield batteries, because this should be an easy hold, but there isn't an overcharge happening. There is. Finally, we're seeing some DT action in the mix, but you need that overcharge. You need to be repairing the shields on these. Maybe RoyalBlu is just going to do this where there was no overcharge. There's nothing in production. I don't really know what I'm seeing here, but it looks like RoyalBlu just does it. RoyalBlu. I cannot believe RoyalBlu managed to break that ramp against that many Immortals. That shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. Let's just back this up. Look. Let's just back this up. You know, 6 Immortals, 2 shield batteries. All we need is an overcharge, and these Stalkers just don't do anything. And like, you know, 3 Immortals, 1-shot Stalker, right? Is that true? Maybe 4. But either way, like, this army should melt against this, especially with a handful of DTs in front. Yeah, you can see the DTs, but DTs have serious DPS. So I don't know. I think CrimsonTide was an overcharge away from winning there, but no overcharge. Didn't happen. A little bit too much micro with these Immortals as well, and the DTs warped in at the back rather than at the front. Too many errors. But anyway, there we have it. It is GG. Oh my goodness. Well, folks, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed it. And I'll now that I've attempted a stream, I'll try and stream some more games as well. I'll try and catch up on my replays